Hi everyone, we are group number 1. We have 3 members and today we will have a discussion about the global operations and supply chain management. In this topic, we will cover some learning objectives. The first one is to understand the concept of supply chain management. The second one is to recognize the relationship between design and supply chain management. The third one is describe the global sourcing arrangement, and the final one is appreciate the importance of ethics of global sourcing. And me, I will tell you about supply chain management. International firms, they may have many ways to enhance their competitiveness, like making improvements to existing cooperations, or opening new or transferring existing operation abroad, or finding alternative outside sources of imports. And the final one is outsourcing. And simply, outsourcing is hiring others to perform some of non-core activities and decision-making in a company value chain, rather than having the company and its employees continue to perform those activities. Outsourcing firm may provide key components of data processing, logistics, payroll, and accounting, even though any activity in the value chain can be outsourced. And it is common that management will pursue some combination of these different of options in their efforts to enhance their company's international competitiveness. And we'll look at one example here. I'm sure that some of you are a big fan of Apple, and you know, Apple doesn't produce its panel itself. They hire Samsung to produce the panels for them, and that is outsourcing. Now we move to managing global supply chains, and first we will have a definition of supply chain, and it refers to the activities that are involved in producing a company's products and services, and how these activities are linked together. And the concept of supply chain management involves the applications of a total system approach to managing the overall flow of materials, information, finances, and services within and among companies in their value chain. And I got an image of global supply chain. An image of value chain model here, according to importer, and we have primary activities and support activities. And as we know, primary activities also include product designs, sourcing of raw materials and components, manufacturing and assembly, distribution and logistics, and marketing and sales, and also post-sales services. And that is all about supply chain. Second, we'll have a definition of supply chain management. and it is the process of coordinating and integrating the flow of materials, information, finances, and services within and among companies in the value chain, from suppliers to the ultimate consumer. And as you can see here, an image that I attach here, it is a process of producing a product, and we have raw materials to processing, from processing to manufacturing, from manufacturing to distribution, from distribution to retail, from retail to consumer. And so we have four participants in this game: suppliers, distributors, and consumers and retailers. Each step will be performed by one firm. The international firm can perform by themselves. And so when we refer to supply chain management, we don't care which firm perform one of those activities. It is still the supply chain management. We will have some major decisions in supply chain management. They are location, production, inventory, and transportation or distribution. And the first one is location. Manager in international firm, they should design factory location of warehouses or sourcing points, and they should consider whether the factory will be located in a low labor cost country or in a developed country. And the second one is production. They should decide what products to produce and which plants to produce them in, and allocation of suppliers to plants. And these decisions have a big impact on the revenues, costs, and customers. The third one is inventory. They are means by which inventories are managed, and so many managers always try to minimize the size of buffer inventories because they may include cost of space, cost of orderings, and administrative costs. And the final one is transportation. We refer to shipping methods here, and it is where products should be shipped by airplanes, which it may be fast but expensive, or by sea or rail, which is cheaper but they may be uncertain. And to understand the importance of supply chain management, we got a business lesson from mini case of Zara here. And so when other fashion houses like Gucci and Chanel, they are still struggling in high-class fashion, and they are no longer welcomed by consumers. And Zara, they are one of the pioneers in fast fashion industry, and they know how to utilize technology, and their manufacturing activities are always close to the stores in order to quickly respond to the market and customer needs. Although labor cost in Asia is much cheaper, and so they define So they redefine the fashion industry, and as a result, they succeed. Now we move to design and products and services. And the design of a company's products and services has a fundamental relationship with the type of inputs that the company will require, including labor, materials, information, and financing. And an important consideration in design is the extent to which the international company's products and services will be standardized across nations or regions to meet customer needs. And in order to consider standardization, any international firm must follow the form of approach here. The first one is over the world approach. It is a sequential approach to design where product designers design products and send it to the firm manufacturing engineers who check many problems, and then they can fix it and if it is necessary. The second one is cross-functional participation. It is a team of specialists from different functions, and they gather to work and on product, and they can contribute their perspective to get the best design. The third one is involving key customer. It is to make sure that products can meet customer needs. The designs will be subjected to earlier assessments on cost, quality, and manufacturability dimensions. And the final one is soliciting broad inputs. And the firms can get ideas or opinions from public through a survey, and customer will be asked about new products, and they can express their ideas about the new products. So the design of products and services is also very important to the company. And we got an example in the book, and you can somewhat understand how design and products and services really affect international firms. When Ford attempt at Latin American market, they don't carefully research into Latin topography, which is rugged, and it is very difficult for driver to drive, and so they fail. And when their new product was launched, so they have to do everything from scratch. So I think it is a big lesson for international firm. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. So Thủy Quỳnh will tell you about some more details.
Hello everyone, I will talk about the sourcing globally. And the first is the reason for sourcing globally. The primary reason is to obtain lower price. The second reason is some product and components are required by company are not available for local production and are required to be imported. For example, in Vietnam, to produce a vehicle, manufacturers have to import about 80% of components, while the feature in the regional countries, for example, Thailand, Indonesia, either 10 to 20%. Competitors are using components of the better quality or design than those available in the home country is the third reason. Depending on this reason, companies should relocate business activity to foreign location is called offshoring. Any part of the value chain can be outsourced, including product design, raw material, or component supply, manufacturing or assembly, logistics, distribution, marketing, sales, service, human resources, and other activities. It is better for a company to initially outsource simple activity and gradually outsource more complex activities, as both the outsourcer and the service provider gain experience. The attraction of the global sourcing is the existence of suppliers which improve the competitiveness in terms of the cost, quality, timeline. The global sourcing arrangement have 5 global sourcing arrangements. The first is wholly owned subsidiary. The second is the overseas joint venture. The third is the inbound plant contractor. The next one is the overseas independent contractor, and the last one is the independent overseas manufacturer. And now we will detail some of them. Wholly owned subsidiary is a company whose shares are completely owned by a parent company or holding company. A wholly owned subsidiary may be in a country different from that of the parent company. The subsidiary most likely has its own senior management structure, product, and customer. Having a wholly owned subsidiary may help the parent company maintain the operation in the diverse geographic area and make markets or separate industry. This feature has against change in the markets or geopolitical and trade politics, as well as decline in industry sector. For example, Starbucks Corporation has wholly owned subsidiary in Japan, Australia. In each country, Starbucks will offer different products to suit traditional tastes of the customer. The second one is overseas joint venture. Is two businesses based in two or more countries form a partnerships and establish where labor costs are lower or quality higher than in the home country. Overseas joint venture allow them to gain competitive advantage through access to a partner resources, including markets, technology, capital, and people. Overseas joint ventures are viewed as a practical vehicle for knowledge transfer, such as technology transfer from multinational expertise to local companies, and such knowledge transfer can contribute to performance improvement of the local companies. Within overseas joint venture, one or more of the parties is located where the operation of the overseas joint venture take place and also involve a local and foreign company. The third is the inborn plant contractor. Inborn is goods that have been imported and are being kept in a bonded warehouse until the tax has been paid. And the firm sends the component to be the machined and assembled by an independent contractor in an inborn plant. The fourth is the firm may contract with an overseas independent contractor to manufacture product to its specification. And the last one, the firm may buy from an independent overseas manufacturer. And now I will give the importance of the global sourcing. The definition of the inter-firm trade is it consists of trade between parent companies of a conflicting country with their affiliates abroad and trade of affiliates under foreign control in this conflicting country with their foreign parent group. It calls for the 30 to 40% of each product good and 35 to 45% of the imports in the case of the United States. Some advantages of global sourcing are learning how to business successfully in a new market, finding and developing alternate supplier sources to reduce costs and stimulate competition. The opportunity exists to locate limited skill and resources not available or unproductive at home country, thereby increasing manufacturing capacity and other technical capability. There are make important of the global resourcing. The first is the greater complexity of product, and the second is focused on the core business because of the pressure for firm, and the third is the outsourced activity lacking competitive ability, and the last one is globally located quick response supplier. As the next part, Frontline will appreciate the importance of the added cost of global sourcing.
Hi, I'm Phương. Last but not least, I'm going to present the importance of unended cost of global sourcing. You have just heard about the importance of global sourcing, but it has some disadvantage. First, the lower price is the main reason company make foreign purchase. But initial lower costs may not be really be lower when all the costs are connected to the purchase. So for purchase of capital goods, such as manufacturing equipment, many organizations now use new costing techniques. They are life cycle costing, full costing, and activity-based costing. Many US organizations now use life cycle costing. Life cycle costing is used to analyze purchasing decisions through the life of the product, including change-in or future estimate value. Companies are also increasingly including full costing and including the use of activity-based costing systems. Companies now use the technique to ensure that all the costs associated with foreign resources, for example, transportation, insurance, are fully recognized when they make the purchasing decisions. Moreover, it is essential that global sourcing decisions be closely linked to the organization strategy and that explicit objective for supplier be defined and incorporation in contract. The second problem with global sourcing is the added cost. International freight, insurance, and packaging may add 10 to 12% of the quote price, uh, depending on the sale term used. Import duties, custom house broker fee, cost of letter of credit, cost of inventory in the pipeline, and internal travel are some of the other added costs. As you can see in the slide, it is the list of cost of importing with an estimate of the percentage of the quote price that it costs at. The first one is internal freight and internal flight insurance and packaging, which add 10 to 12% to the quote price. The second is import duties, which add from 0 to 50% to the price. The third is custom house broker fee, 3 to 5%. Transit or highlight inventory 5 to 15%. Cost of letter of credit 1%. International travel and communication cost 2 to 8%. Company import specialist 5%. Reworking of products out of specification 0 to 50%. For example, of the energy cost, if I import a carpet to the US, the US custom would charge a tariff of 4.5%. So if I import $100,000 worth of carpet, the import duty would be $4,500. So the import duty $4,500 would also be the ended cost. Another advantage of global sourcing are the increase in price due to exchange rate fluctuation and e-procurement e-commerce issues. Firstly, price increase due to home currency losing value because of exchange rate fluctuations. So, if an importer requires that the export quote in the home countries, the importer can avoid exchange rates, but but if the home country currency is understandable. The importer may want to quote in the seller currency to avoid exchange rate risk. Another disadvantage of global sourcing is the e-procurement and e-commerce issue. E-procurement, e-commerce as a whole cannot be isolated from the company overall business system. Many early efforts at developing e-procurement systems have been made in isolation and have subsequently failed to deliver on their potential. Security is also a problem. Companies are wary of opening to the detail of their business to competitors to avoid risking the loss of brand equity. In addition, exposing internal business system to access the internet can expose the firm to a wide range of potential security issues uh, such, such as hacking. Different country standards are also of concern in attempting to implement international e-procurement systems. Governmental concern with potential anti-competitive effects of collaboration among competitors may also cause problems for industrial-wide business-to-business chains. Finally, about the manufacturing systems, since international firms maintain manufacturing facilities at many countries at various levels of development, it is understandable that manufacturing systems will also be vary considerably even within the same countries. A single company may have combination uh, combination of plants that range from those with the most advanced technology to those with far less advanced technologies. The manufacturing systems in place within and across a company international operation can have important implications for the way in which the company's global supply chain is set up and managed. That is the end of our presentation. Thank you for listening.